On July 22nd, 2022, Vince McMahon released the following statement, quote, "As I approach 77 years old, I feel it's time for me to retire as chairman and CEO of WWE. Throughout the years, it's been a privilege to help WWE bring you joy, inspire you, thrill you, surprise you, and always entertain you." End quote. That was it. After 40 years at the helm of WWF/WWE, McMahon had stepped down from his role as chairman of the board of the largest sports entertainment entity in the world. Now, of course, McMahon did not stay retired for long after he orchestrated his comeback to the company in January 2023, in which he let numerous allegations made about him die down from several women, alleging hush money payments and sexual harassment at the workplace. Today, I aim to look back and recount all of the controversies surrounding Vince McMahon that led to him retiring, as well as the state of the WWE product since then. Vincent Kennedy McMahon was born on August 24, 1945 in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and he began his wrestling career as a commentator for his father's promotion, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, before eventually purchasing the company from Vince Sr. McMahon led the WWF to massive heights, and eventually WWE became a staple of modern-day culture and a publicly traded company. This huge number of successes, however, has come with many controversies. McMahon has been sued by and feuded with several of his top talents, including Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Bruno Sammartino, and CM Punk. McMahon usually came out on top of every controversy. But then in June 2022, an article was published by the Wall Street Journal stating that WWE was investigating a $3 million hush money payment that Vince McMahon made to a former employee of the company. The investigation concluded, and it was discovered that McMahon had paid close to $19 million in settlements to different women using the WWE's books. It was not Owen Hart's tragic death that took down Vince McMahon, or the Chris Benoit tragedy, or the steroid trial, or any of the other controversies against him. Instead, it was a paralegal that took him down. Vince McMahon plucked a woman who went to law school from the streets and made her a paralegal. This no doubt sparked intrigue among those within WWE. After giving her several raises and, quote, passing her to Johnny Ace, she left the WWE and broke her NDA by talking to the Wall Street Journal. McMahon's retirement led to a shakeup amongst the executives behind the scenes in WWE. First, Triple H became the company's chief content officer, a role he's still in today, while Stephanie McMahon served as the chairwoman of the board and co-CEO alongside Nick Khan. Khan was brought in to attract different sponsors and overhaul the philosophy of talent recruitment. Stephanie had stepped down from WWE prior to Vince's retirement and was only temporarily reinstated as chairwoman until her father made his way back into the company. What has changed more so than anything else in WWE from the viewer's perspective is the quality of television. Since McMahon retired, we have seen WWE go on a historic run that has brought wrestling back into the mainstream eye once again, while they have put together a string of consistent PLE events. A major accomplishment that Triple H has achieved during his time in charge of creative is making the WWE's weekly TV shows enjoyable again. For many, wrestling was a chore to watch on Mondays and Fridays for over a decade. Out-of-touch booking coupled with tired storylines and a lack of modern characters made WWE feel like a product of yesteryear. They were living on the successes afforded to them during the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression eras for large parts of the 2010s. With Triple H at the helm, we have seen fresh matchups and an emphasis on storytelling and developing new stars. Notable storylines are that of the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, Dominic vs. Rey Mysterio, and anything that Edge touches. From the very first PLE that Triple H was put in charge of at SummerSlam 2022 until SummerSlam 2023, we have seen a string of PLE successes that no one saw coming under the McMahon regime. Records have been shattered. Mainstream stars like Bad Bunny and Logan Paul have brought more eyes on the product than anyone could ever imagine. Now, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul were around while Vince was in charge, but let's analyze the difference of the content being produced for those A-plus list celebrities. In 2021, Vince McMahon's use for Bad Bunny was having The Miz play paints with his multi-million-dollar Bugatti alongside John Morrison. In turn, Triple H booked Bad Bunny to have a street fight with Damian Priest and make that the headlining match of a PLE from the island of Puerto Rico, Bad Bunny's home island. This gave birth to one of the most incredible entrances of all time when Bad Bunny came out to Chambea in front of the sold-out crowd that was singing every lyric of their hometown hero song. Of course, McMahon would not stay retired long. We all knew this. CM Punk was interviewed about this, and he said that you're nuts if you think Vince is not going to be involved in some way. So then, on January 5th, 2023, a nightmare for some, Vince McMahon announced his intent on returning to the WWE as its chairman. He cited a need to return to the company to orchestrate a sale, since it was in the board's best interest for him to be involved due to his controlling stock in the company. The early months of 2023 low-key became one of the most chaotic and stressful times to be a wrestling fan. We were all speculating what a WWE sale would be like and who it would be sold to. Not only that, but the impending return of Vince McMahon just sent fear into all of our hearts. We got used to the Triple H regime and seeing wrestling events that felt like they were worth watching again, only to possibly have it crumble down once Vince returned. The suitors for WWE sales included a list of Netflix, Disney, NBC, and the eventual buyer, Endeavor. After the sale with Endeavor went through, Vince began doing a media tour, and it was announced that he would be in charge of creative again. This was met with obvious negative reactions. However, what we saw on TV was seemingly a power struggle. Raw began being rewritten on the fly, and reports of Vince running one show while Triple H ran the other began to surface. You could see this play out on TV, and one segment that sticks in my mind is when during a commercial break, Vince allegedly changed Seth Rollins' segment while he was in the ring. There was one episode of Raw after WrestleMania 39 in particular that felt like a Vince McMahon produced show. At the time, everyone was depressed thinking we'd be seeing segments like the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders playing basketball again just to make an old man laugh. In reality, this was more like a one-time thing of Vince showing the new owners at Endeavor what his genius was, that made him a global phenomenon with WWE. Eventually, Endeavor announced that Triple H would remain in charge of creative, thank God, and Vince would be the chairman of WWE under the regime, which includes a partnership of some sort with the UFC to create a multimedia conglomerate. Conveniently, Vince McMahon underwent spinal surgery and took a leave of absence just as more news relating to his hush money scandal became known. Overall, in 1 year since the Wall Street Journal published an article exposing Vince's hush money, the WWE has reached massive heights since being sold to Endeavor and being ran by Triple H. How long will Vincent Kennedy McMahon remain in the background? Well, that just remains to be seen.